It looks like we are live! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my normally weekly stream, assuming that I don't end up running into some kind of reason why I can't stream like last week. You may notice that this is not Dragon Age today. I am joined by my regular co-host, Cybernetic Pinkeye.
Greetings and felicitations.
But, yeah, so I'm going to be doing some art stuff today because surprisingly enough, I enjoy having content for my channel, and I've been having fun working on this anyway, because it is related to this D&D campaign that we keep not shutting up about.
Nor do we have any intention of shutting up about.
No, it's probably going to keep getting worse as the campaign carries on, but,
Worse or better?
Anyway. So I've been in the process of putting together an animatic. Some elements are still going to be a surprise, especially for the end result, but I think it's already been established what it's about to the people who actually know anything about this. Hi, YouTube is giving me capture top moments, new, create a highlight video. I don't need to do that.
I love how they're trying to compete with Twitch.
They are. Like, that's all that this is. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I have been working on the panels for this. And this one that's currently up on screen, there we go, this is my character on the left here, Ophelia Price, and the people gathered in the back are known collectively as the Mages of Dehia. Dehia being the villain of the campaign, at least insofar as we understand it.
Basically, the Elite Four of the dark side.
Yeah, I guess. I think that's because Elite Four, that's Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, only if they don't have Pokemon, they just have kill people.
Yeah, and, two of our player characters are currently dating two of them.
Uh-huh. Like, he's not even joking. Literally, one of them, I have no idea if this is going to show up on the stream from my mouse. Hey, Skeeto!
Yes.
Okay, it is showing my mouse. Okay, well, let me see if I can find something a little bit more noticeable for this to pick up on.
But,
Okay.
basically, one of the player characters, Jess, played by our friend, Nizumi VA, is dating the young woman on the far left there, Emma.
And Ophelia is literally on a date with Scout Darlow on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Well, I have some visual aids, so to speak.
Please.
But I'm not going to show all of it, but the one that
Yeah.
I posted. So they go on their date. She immediately walks up to him, and first thing she does is grab both sides of his face and say, thank you for the expedient delivery of that handsome face I asked for.
Can you show the selfie?
I'm about to. So the second thing she basically did was, so she had to actually she tried to get together with her friends, but then this ended up coming up, so she was like, I should probably take care of this because, I really don't want to just brush him off, etc. Hello, all you people who are coming in.
Yes.
But, so she apologized to her friends and said, I really have to do this, and they say, okay, we'll let you get away with this, but on one condition. So, after a moment after greeting and kind of checking in with Scout, she pulls out her phone, sidles up next to him, wraps her arm around his waist, lays her head on his shoulder, and come on. There we go. Takes a selfie.
God. I also love the direction of his eyes.
Uh-huh. Well, what do you mean the direction of his eyes? He's not going to look at the phone. Why would...
Sure.
He doesn't...
It just looks like he's looking a bit downward is all.
No.
That's fair.
No, he's looking pretty much to the right there. He's looking straight at Ophelia.
Yeah, you're right. Upon second glance, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he does not understand technology quite. I think he has kind of a basic understanding, but he knows mostly that these are devices that are very different from what he is used to in his world.
Yeah, growing up in a medieval parallel universe will do that.
Not parallel universe, but magical realm. But
Yeah.
either way. So it's been a largely pleasant date for the two of them. Outside of the mentioning of... So originally she ends up getting him over on the prospect of potentially recruiting her. She basically is saying, I mean, I don't know that it's going to be any kind of guarantee that I'll be recruited over, but I want to show you the courtesy of hearing you out, and also the heavy flirtation. Like, I'm not going to repeat some of the things that she said to him.
Because this is a safe for work stream.
Since when? Anyway, but no, some of the things that she said to him had the people who were listening in, both literally, like, there, like, on the scene with her while she made this call, as well as people in the call for the campaign session, their reactions were fucking priceless. I saw the stream was on, came running. What is up, my dudes? Well, Tucker, it's good to see you. I am working on art things and just explaining something briefly. So, what I'm actually... Because the funny thing is... God. So, this is part of a two-part thing. Griffin knows what this is going to be an Animatic 2. Because he helped me actually obtain the music for it.
Yeah.
Art stream. It is an art stream, indeed.
Yes.
So...
Aw, thank you.
Huh?
John
Oh.
Morrison donated $10.
Oh, thank you! That's probably going to pop up in a second.
Yes, a stream like this was exactly what I needed today. Thank you. Thank you, John.
A stream like this? Oh my goodness. Let's see, I'm sorry, I'm just moving my mic around here a little bit. I'm also trying to make sure that I can see all of the chat stuff. Because I have two screens, but one of them is completely taken up by the art program. Maybe because I'm an idiot. But so... This is one of those things where she is describing the people who are currently following and serving Dahia. But, like, you might even know the line that I'm about to go, but I'm going to quickly scribble out the two that are currently dating members of our team.
Oh, yes. Speaking of, we should also clarify that the half-orc on the... in the middle left is named Kusprite, and the dark elf next to him is Liara. They are some more of the higher up. Well, they're all technically mages of Dahia, the four of them, but those two in particular, they kind of handle the reins, so to speak. They
seem to so far have the most authority out of all of them.
Yeah.
And while Kusprite is at least reasonable, at least as far as we know, Liara is completely fucking insane.
Yeah, she's completely lost the plot.
Like, she is not okay. And we're not going to bother trying to get her to date anyone.
True, although we did make joking remarks about, with the current trend, maybe hooking Kusprite up with the school teacher.
We're not gonna do that.
Oh no, it's just fun to think about. Because the main thing with Kusprite, from what I understand anyway, is that he's one that's like, have you heard the good news? Kind of dudes when it comes to at least Dahia and fucking what's this way? The other god they worship. They worship
Shirabos.
Yeah.
Which he actually has the symbol for Shirabos on his armor there.
Yeah, so Shirabos is the god of day, and Dahia is the god of night, supposedly, quote unquote.
Although it's been talked about that she's probably not actually the original goddess of the night. Yeah.
So there's some shady shit up with that. But yeah, Kusprite, like, for as shady as he is in some regards, he at least, as Lindsay said, is reasonable and can talk about things, which Ophelia actually did establish some relatively healthy communication with him during their last encounter.
Yeah.
And I just, for whatever reason, love the idea of this dude who wants to go around spreading the good news, meeting an educator like their
school teacher, Miss Rosa Lane.
Yeah. Plus, I also just love the ship name Religious Studies.
However, it's not something that we are requesting to become canon
No, no.
so much as it is. I'm trying to decide if I want to fully scribble them out or just do X's over them.
Yeah.
But
Although
anyway.
the DM did not say it was off the table. I will say that much.
Oh yeah, no, her response actually, because there was further discussion of it. So, so I said, but yeah, ship name for Kuzbright and Rosalane is Religious Studies.
Yes.
She goes, I love that. I said, if I recall correctly, Luke coined that, either him or Griffin, which we're all sharing a brain at this point.
Yeah.
It's a scenario that my brain isn't mad about. I know it probably wasn't meant as make this canon, but now I'm considering, she said. I said, no, it wasn't make this canon. We were literally just messing around. I forget exactly how it came up, but it was like, I was like, hang on, that would actually be kind of cute?
Yeah.
Stoic man with Gossip Girl? Her response was, yeah, that's what I figured, and it's pretty cute, honestly.
Yeah.
Religious Studies is a cute chip name. It is!
I'm proud of that.
So, and then of course, so Jane came into this conversation and was like, wait, how did this, what about, what was, there was a closet? And she couldn't remember the context, so I was like, the closet thing was us discussing, like, after Kuzbright and Rosa actually meet, the kids think Kuzbright is going to hurt her, they go into her house, hear noise in the closet, and open the door, only to find the two making their own game of 7 Minutes in Heaven, and then closing the door and backing away.
Oh, God.
So we have fun with this campaign, and even just in the conversation, the shipping is a surprisingly consistent, prominent element of this campaign. In between,
yes.
I don't even know how to fucking do this, because, I'm sorry, just crossing them out doesn't seem right.
I think maybe scribbling over the faces might be good.
It seems like that's kind of like something a crazy person does. I think just scribbling over them being there, and I'm going to add like an actual note that can be read.
Yeah.
About why they're scribbled out.
I could even see fucking Liara holding the pencil.
Well, that's... The note on it would be something to the effect of, well, actually, we're dating two of them.
Yes. Oh, dear.
But yeah, so obviously I am way more drawn to the shipping aspect of this campaign because I am a simple bitch, really. You give me something tied to romance and I'm going to be like, yes, I am on board with this.
And I will say, I may be aromantic, but I can still get behind the idea of a good, actual, chemistry-driven ship.
Oh yeah, that is what's happening with both of them. In the case of Emma, the one on the far left, she's hooking up with her childhood friend. And it makes sense that the two of them would come together like this.
You take care, Zach.
Oh, yes. All right, take care, Zach. It was great seeing you.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah,
have
at the
fun.
French performance.
It's mate, dude.
I mean.
Anyway.
Yeah, and again, like, there actually is good chemistry in the ships that are being developed in this campaign, which sadly is not all that common in fiction nowadays.
I mean, the hilarious thing for me is, again, the chemistry that started with Ophelia and Scout was pretty much her just going, hey, you're cute. Want to hang out? And him... Well, I don't think I talked about exactly how that encounter ended initially. That first call.
God.
Let's summarize it as he was interested.
Yeah. Ding!
Shut up!
I'm sorry.
Oh my god, you child. But yes, you can probably piece 2 and 2 together there as to exactly how that conversation ended.
Man.
So I feel like I think that'll do for that. Because this is going to be like a thing that kind of flips between the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
So, or not flips, but starts off with the full one with all 4 mages of Dahia, and then the scribbled out, like, well, not the whole crew.
Thanks again, John.
Oh! TMW, a fictional character has better game than you, and all he had to say... Well, actually, she was the one who said, you look cute. She was the one to call him.
Yeah, she's the one with full grip over the situation here.
Thank you, Alex. Of course I want to hang out.
Yes.
I always want to hang out, especially you, because I love you. But no, in Ophelia's case, she was the one who made the call and said all sorts of flattering things. I still think my favorite line was, because it was the one that he rolled a 2 on, so he kind of said, well, I mean, we don't have to be enemies, especially if you join us. And she goes, you think I would fit in with your ranks? And he goes, yeah, I think you would. And so she replied to that with, would that mean that I would be directly under you? He rolled a 2 in his composure check. So the DM was rolling, like, every time she would say something like that to see if he was able to maintain his composure. He rolled a 2.
Mm-hmm.
He rolled a 2, and,
Enough said.
He did lose his composure, very much so, to the point where he was very happy that he was alone.
Turn on your location, I just want to talk.
But there was further flattery, and basically she did make it clear that it wasn't just the flattery, but that it was courtesy, curiosity, and then he, like, called her back literally the next day. When I say call, by the way, they have sending stones, which is basically kind of like a phone. It's 2 stones that are enchanted and connected to each other, so that when someone speaks into one, the other one will hear it. So they were able to basically walkie-talkie their way across worlds. So literally the next day. Of course, the timing of it was fucking amazing, too, but anyway. So, called the next day. It took him, I think, less than 24 hours to put together everything that he needed to make arrangements to come over and actually meet Ophelia in person again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he had to dwell on the whether or not he would, so much as the making arrangements to make it possible. Lore character flirts, someone gets flustered and runs away. Why are you running?
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
The thing is that he most certainly did the opposite of running away.
I also love how, like, on the complete opposite spectrum of that was, like, when Marcy had Jess confess to Emma is basically the equivalent of, hey, I think you're really cool. I like you a lot. Maybe we could hang out or something.
Maybe we could hang out or something. I mean, both of them were adorable.
Oh, yeah.
So 13. So, get back here and be flirted at! Yes, I mean, he ain't running away just yet. In fact, so, okay, the timing of the call happened to be when she was so exhausted she was actually about to pass out. And literally about to pass out. Like, I even explained to those in the call that I was about to start rolling constitution checks to see if she actually stayed, on her feet. As in, I'd set it so that it would be if she rolled an 8 or above, she would be fine. But if she rolled under an 8, she would collapse. Just as I was actually about to suggest that, the DM goes, hey, roll a luck roll. And I was like, okay. And it was reasonably high, and that's when she got her call back from Scout.
Mm-hmm.
So she did that call, and it was actually very sweet, but then she leaves feeling better, feeling somewhat refreshed, because it was actually a cute conversation.
Enter my character, who manages to piss her off so much that she actually does pass out.
To be fair, he was trying to do the right thing by another friend and make sure that she didn't get dragged into something dangerous. It was just that the timing of it was... Everyone had been trying to get a hold of him. Everyone had been trying to keep him up to date on some new developments that he wanted to be kept abreast of. And the thing is that the reason why they were so determined on it was because the last time they kept a secret from him, he pointed a gun at someone.
Specifically Mweldon.
Yes. She didn't pass out in pure rage. It was just one of those... So, they were upset because Owen was, again, like, I'll listen to you, but I want to do something first, or I have to take care of something first. And so I know that it was for good reasons, but it was just bad timing. And with the first objection, I was like, okay, so that's going to upset her, so I need to roll a Constitution check. And I thought, it's a low roll. She can easily get that. 8 is not all that high. She just has to beat 8. And she rolled a 6. And I was like... Oh no. And then she ended up passing out on the spot. And since then, Owen has been very
guilty
oh
as
shit. Yeah, oh shit, I made her pass out.
Yeah, and now he is pretty much too scared to speak up about anything. Because in his mind, every time he says or does something at all, it winds up ruining everything. Like when he speaks his mind or does something that he feels will help, it ultimately ends up like starting infighting or literally causing someone to get hurt. So
which we're hoping to clear up soon. I know that Ophelia certainly does not actually blame him for it.
Yeah.
It's not like he knew that she had been not getting sleep for like the last couple of days.
Oh yeah.
And it ended up leading to a nice kind of really cool, almost cinematic moment where in driving her back home, they end up finally actually talking.
Yeah.
And kind of are like, okay, so here are all of the things that we have yet to mention in full to everyone. Here's what's going on with this, here's what's going on with this. They had a genuine, what is it called? A come to Jesus moment or something like that? I hate to put it that way, but
But yeah, because like, on the one hand, Owen was caught up on vital information that he would have wanted to know. On the other hand, they also pretty much filled in Owen's friend on everything that was happening. A friend which he was trying to keep as far away from the situation as possible.
Yeah, but she was already technically involved.
So now he also feels guilty for that. For not being able to keep her out of it.
Writing lyrics for a project I'm working on. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So exposition while dragging the body. I mean, no, she kind of passed out, but she roused, but it was kind of like very sluggish and like very clearly not okay.
Yeah, and they were in Yona's car. Yona being Owen's friend.
Well, she's technically all of their friends.
True.
But more particularly Owen's right now.
Yeah.
She is also technically one of Ophelia's associates, being the president to Ophelia's vice president.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of shit that's going on, and unfortunately I still love, I'm sorry. There's a lot of shit going on, and I'm happy for my girl because she got to actually have a really pleasant date. And the only unpleasant part was when she was like, okay, so you came here for a specific reason. We should probably address that. And he builds up to and suggested, hey, so want to join us? I think you'd be a great leader. And actually his proposal was, don't come join our ranks, but come and lead beside me. Which is actually kind of sweet, if not for the context of I'm serving a goddess that might actually destroy everything. He doesn't know that part, per se. He kind of does, but He's in a weird position. And she went, no. Actually, how about instead you come join our side? And he was like, no. So they it was a little bit of a sad moment. I remember someone remarking, is like, why does it feel like I just listened to a breakup? Nice. Nice, Raven, anyway. But then so at one point she leaned back and goes, so I guess Darling is off the table. Because she'd been calling him Darling because his last name is Darlow, and she was like giving him, I guess, technically a pet name. And it did fluster him, but after that point she was like, so I'm guessing Darling is off the table, and he goes, unless you want to annoy me, yeah. But we'll have to see where that goes. It may not necessarily be off the table just yet.
They're still on good terms.
Yeah, that's just it. Right after that, they were like, okay, so do we want to pretend until we get things more settled and you talk with someone who I think might help clear some things up, clear why I'm concerned up to you? How about instead we just kind of pretend that conversation is floating somewhere out in the ether and just go back to having a pleasant conversation?
Yeah.
And he agreed, and so that's what they did. And in fact, some of that is going to be addressed in the next session. So that other people didn't have to sit there and listen to me talk with the DM, for hours upon hours, we worked out exactly what sort of conversation they had following that. And that's going to be fun to reveal.
Yeah.
But they had a very good conversation, to the point of actually mutually nerding out about certain things, which is hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be more to this date once we actually get back into it. God, hands. Why do hands have to be a thing?
Ask Darwin.
He didn't invent hands.
Oh. But he at least had an explanation for them.
But, so what I was even going to say, the what I love moment was, like, in relation to all of this, Ophelia dressed up for her date. And literally everyone had to roll constitution checks at the sight of her. Now,
well, except Owen because he's gay, but...
Well, no, he had to roll the constitution check because he was scared of her.
True, yeah.
But he did have to still roll a constitution check. Duo had to roll a constitution check, Duo being the student-teacher character, because he'd actually taken Mweldon, the NPC, and Tycho. Mweldon being someone that Ophelia has kind of bonded to and become somewhat protective of.
Yeah.
So they went on a trip out to see Duo's mentor, and she texted Duo saying, if anything happens to him, you're going to regret it. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that she is part of one of the wealthiest families in town, the wealthiest family in town, and if that could easily have threatened his job and put him out and caused some serious problems for him. So he tried to do everything he could, but of course they had an encounter on the way out to see his mentor, and of course the only one who got hit was Weldon.
Mm-hmm.
Why do hands have to be a thing? They don't have to be. They kind of do for what I'm doing with this.
Breaking news! Charles Darwin invented hands!
I love that, and thank you for the voice.
You're welcome.
God, okay, so now I have to do my hand in that position and then try to translate that. Okay.
Yeah, but, there's so much going on, like...
So, the Constitution checks on the other two were Ken, who has a notable problem with girls, just in general, and Jess, who is a huge lesbian, and... Again, seeing someone dressed up all hot was just like one of those, oh god, she's pretty moments.
She is the big... The best part about that was because prior to showing up at the arcade, the meeting place, to have to roll cons to keep her composure around Ophelia, she was also out with a friend at the herb shop where she ran into another very attractive woman. And... I don't think she did well with that encounter either.
No, she kind of walked away with like, yeah, she's like super hot, and then Ruby, who was with her, was like, no, she was using magic.
Yeah.
So that was That was one of those, like, did you see that? Yeah, she was, like, really hot. Ridiculously hot. And Ruby's like, what? Well, yeah, but I think magic's involved.
Oh, yeah. So
Oh.
the implication being that this woman was actually far older than she appears, but is using magic to...
make herself attractive. And thank you so much, John.
Yeah. You're on a roll.
Thank you. Like, and my audio is going to play in a second, but she's a lesbian? I thought she was American.
I mean...
All right.
Oh, boy.
Hey, people out there, if you want to become an artist, practice, I guess. Don't be me, though. If you can figure out a way to be an artist that doesn't ever require to do hands, that doesn't seem like it's a cheap cop-out on certain things, then I will, like, ask you for your technique.
But hey, don't believe me. Observe this commercial.
Vine reference. Funny. You laugh now. That just makes me think of, Game Grumps, where Aaron says something and Dan doesn't respond for a second. He goes, come on, man, just pity laugh.
Pity laugh. And just to follow up, like, no, I was trying to remember the melody. Aaron Hansen is the funniest man alive. Just
and then the
extra, like, cherry on top of the fuck you.
But it was, like, what made that even better was that he then goes, yeah, this is the guy that I have tied my comedy career to.
This is my lifelong comedy partner. Dear.
But, I mean, there are choices that you make sometimes, Dan, and the one who says, come on, just pity laugh, man.
We make decisions, and we, more often than not, have to live with them.
But yeah, no, these kids are trying their best.
Yeah.
But it was just funny. And like I said, it wasn't even... It's just cognitively the fact that upon seeing Ophelia dressed up, people have to try and maintain their composure.
Yeah.
Particularly Ken and Jess, but just in general. She seems
she's hot!
Except that in Owen's case it was, oh no, she's here!
Exactly. So yeah, now he's like just walking around with crippling guilt. Oh
God!
God damn it! For reference, I've written Owen because I'm a sadistic son of a bitch. I've written Owen to where he has a blood condition known as beta thalassemia intermedia, which is basically a weird variant on anemia that basically results in non-functional hemoglobin, making him prone to iron overload, like deformation or weak bones, jaundice, pale skin, just a truckload of health problems. And like the more severe variants of this disease actually require regular episodic blood transfusions in order to survive.
Yep.
And if it's caught early enough in someone's life, it's easy enough to manage.
But then,
unfortunately, especially the minor intermediate versions. Unfortunately, Owen was not diagnosed until he was 13. So.
And it was largely because, unfortunately, I mean, understandable on the part of his mom, she didn't want to admit that it was happening.
Yeah.
So
she was basically in a decade-plus long state of denial because she'd gotten pregnant by some asshole who skipped town the moment he found out about it. And she tried reaching out to his family for financial support, couldn't get it. Basically got a letter from her family all but disowning her for having a child out of wedlock. And this is while she was still in her teens, by the way.
Yeah.
So she had to raise this child all by herself in a impoverished part of town, we'll say.
Yeah.
And so that, paired with the realization that this kiddo might have some serious health problems, kind of put her into a state of no, just we'll try and sort through this by myself. It'll be fine. And then he fell down the stairs outside his elementary school and nearly died.
So and also, so I showed my friend the first D&D stream you did when it was supposed to be Dragon Age to my friend. She now says Owen is her husbando cinnamon roll. What the fuck does that mean? Well, it means that She has interesting taste.
I mean, yeah. Also, Owen is 16 and the big gay.
He is the super
so-
gay.
Yeah. Um,
Which, of course, is hilarious given that the one person he has expressed attraction to was the same person that Ophelia decided to flirt her way into their life.
yeah. Thanks for that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Listen, I'm just greasing up the wheels for you, okay?
Uh huh.
I-
Whose
I-
wheels exactly are you greasing?
I mean,
Boy. But
I am so good at art, guys. Like, so good.
and I will say I even had like a handful of like, because I was anxious about when I was first putting Owen together because he's a bunch of things that I am not. He's like half Latino. He's gay. He's got this crippling disease. And so like when I was first started playing as him in the campaign, I was like I have to be careful not to just make him into a fucking like
Stereotype?
God, yeah, stereotype. What's there's a specific word I'm looking for. Caricature. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to avoid turning him into a caricature. But I thankfully I think I've avoided that thus far. And I'm still having fun playing Owen, and
I still loved the thus far only real conversation involving his mom, like actually
Yeah.
having her involved, was her discovering that her baby boy has friends,
and
and having
she
a
was not prepared for.
and just having a moment of oh my baby boy has friends. Okay.
Just letting him into just yelling like to him in Spanish that we have visitors.
I can draw hands.
I mean, like, to your credit, they do look good.
Not in this case.
Thank you, Skeeto.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I must contribute now, says Skeeto. You have been a fantastic support through all of this, so don't feel obligated to, but the support, and I know I say this every time, but the support is very much appreciated.
Speaking of, and please stop me if this is something you don't want to disclose, but shout out to like 3 people in particular who helped donate recently for something that Laura's been in the market for.
Well, okay, so specifically, my chair has actually broken, and
Yeah.
it's not like super, like all the way broken, but it's definitely on its way.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. I want to contribute too. Okay. Let's not turn this into another donation war.
begins.
I know. But train of thought going back. What was it just before that?
Oh yeah, your chair broke.
Oh yeah, my chair. It's not like fully snapped or anything, but a part of it, like there's one point where there's a screw that had the head on it, and it looks like the head on that screw has popped off, so I can't
He's
even
a Shakarian.
remove it. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Shakarian.
Uh,
Oh, and you got a bonus today? Well, I appreciate you sharing your bonus with me, John.
just make sure that you're doing all right as well.
Yeah. Like, again, I know I always emphasize this too, but please don't do anything outside of your ability to actually contribute. Oh god,
Yeah.
I did not mean for the donation to start. The donation war. I want to
You
be
were
like the
very
cool
much
kids.
One of the cool kids, Shakarian.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, my cat. This isn't even my cat that's meowing. That's actually my roommate's cat.
Yeah.
And he has separation anxiety. Pretty much every time my roommate leaves the room or closes a door, you'll hear that cat crying. Sometimes he doesn't even have to close the door. Sometimes the cat will just be like, "I can't see you in my line of sight."
To be fair, your cats are like that as well.
Okay, but Garrus at least gets in my face before he starts screaming. No, that's not true. He also goes
Yeah, I
into
was
the
gonna
bathroom.
say,
He sometimes
what
goes
the
into
fuck
the
are you talking
bathroom.
about?
He also goes into the bathroom to yodel from time to time, periodically.
Just for the acoustics, to make sure everyone in the house can hear it.
Meow, he says.
Ow,
Ow,
ow.
ow.
That's more blackjack.
Well, I mean, he'll do that. Like, that's just it. Garrus normally is tiny and squeaky, but, like, when he does the yodeling, all of a sudden he has deeper pipes, and he starts going, wow. So
he turns into Aretha Franklin.
oh my god, what is wrong with you?
That's a damn good question.
It's those cough drops. You're clearly high on cough drops.
Apparently, the methanol is doing its work.
Why do you default to, like, the most complicated versions of all of these names? Like, when you were describing what Owen has, you went to the full description of it.
Well, because it's a specific disease.
Yeah, but you usually describe it by the one word.
True, but then I actually did more research on it and found out that it is, like, a specific diagnosis.
Right, but anyway. But you, like, it's the same thing that you do whenever you say anything in Spanish where you adopt the accent. Like, you even did it when you're just like, yeah, he's Latino.
I try to adopt proper pronunciation so as not to be an appropriative asshat.
I'm not, look, it's not that I think that you're being an appropriative asshat, so much as it is that you're, like, it's the person who just randomly says the Spanish stuff in that accent, but, like, the rest of everything you're saying is in your American accent. So well, it's like...
There's more than one reason I live in Portland, okay?
We don't need the donation wars to begin again. It has already ended. It must not begin again. Yeah, you're saying that because you won the last one.
I thought the war was over. War never changes. ID tag donators donate ID tag money.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I love these kids, and I am so hoping that they're going to turn out okay, but we are still only just getting started with the story in this campaign.
Oh yeah, and all of us are conniving as fuck, apparently, because we've all been going to the DM with our own, like, behind-the-scenes ideas.
Uh-huh. The funny part with that, she's like, okay, so a lot of you are having overlapping plot stuff, so, like, I don't even really have to do a lot of the networking stuff anymore. You guys are all just kind of creating plots that intersect beautifully, and I'm like, excellent.
Good.
I have many things that still have yet to be revealed.
I've been especially happy that I won't go into details because spoilers, obviously, but like like specific things I've planned evidently line up with the DM's own plans in that regard, and I'm very eager to see the paths cross, so to speak.
Oh yeah, I've literally had exactly the same thing. What I was proposing, and she was like, "That's actually really perfect." This fits in perfectly with this. That actually, she said that to two of the things that have yet to be revealed.
Nice.
She did also mention that the Titania thing fits in perfectly.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. To clarify, on top of like a lot of the player characters in this game working to save the world, a handful of them have apparently been chosen by specific gods to carry out the task of defeating the big bad that is Dahlia.
Mm-hmm. And in Ophelia's case, apparently she is being reached out to by Titania. Yes, that one.
Mm-hmm. The baddest bitch in the room, Faye.
I mean, that's just it. She is not the one you want to fuck with.
I mean, you don't fuck with the Fae in general, but specifically that Fae.
Yeah. She is actually assumed to be more powerful than her consort, Oberon, in this case. So, I was going to say Ophelia sure knows how to pick them, but literally it's Titania picking her to talk, to her.
True.
We still don't know what that's all about, so much as it is she is getting, correspondence with this Fae. Oh,
yeah. And, like, I will say that a lot of the picks for the gods to the players have been very, very fitting. Like, another one that comes to mind is Nozumi VA's character, Jess, being pretty much contacted and reached out to by Baal, the god of vengeance and justice.
Yeah. There's that. We don't know what's going on with Owen outside of the fact that he apparently spiritually knocked on a door and got a puff of, like, pink and orange clouds, I think it was.
Pink and purple.
Pink and purple. I thought it was pink and orange.
I think it was pink and purple, if memory serves.
Well, one way or another.
Yeah.
On top of that, we've also got 3 of the characters, we've talked about this before, but are possessed by spirits, the souls of characters that were created on the fantasy side, and that's how they're able to do magic now.
Hey, we got Jane in the chat.
Oh, hi!
Welcome.
Hi, Red as a Tomato.
Yes.
It is pink and purple? Okay.
Yes. For reference, this is our friend Red as a Tomato. She plays, occasionally provides the voice of Prin, the pixie, who is a NPC contributing member of the party.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we do we want to see about getting Jane in the call?
Oh, are these streams scheduled, or you just, we don't, oh, these ones? Yeah, the ones that I'm doing right now, they're, every Saturday. They start at, 5 p.m. Central, so 6 p.m. Eastern. The D&D stuff is not streamed, in case that was what you were asking about.
Yeah, no. The campaign is like just our own little thing.
Oh, yeah, there is a call. Well, there is a call going, if you can't tell from Griffin being in call with me.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, when I asked, a lot of people were like, we can't do this. So I was like, okay. Did you want to join us?
We would be happy to have you, Jane.
Hey, Tomato. Phoenix!
Nora!
What the hell, man?
Oh, it looks like Jane is interested.
Okie dokie. Do you want to add her to the call?
Yeah. So let me
Let's harass this poor woman.
So the friends list. Let's see here.
Well, I mean, among other things, you can just hit the +1, but join. Okay. Yeah. Hi.
Ew.
Awesome, cool, yeah.
Yes.
I saw the messages late, so I was like, oh, is it still going? But then like it was kind of like quiet time in like the chat, so I was like, I'm just gonna check on YouTube, and I went to the YouTube app, and then there you are, and then it was
Yes.
like, oh.
Well, you know what?
So
This is a
everyone's-
perfect introduction to Jane.
Yeah, say hello to Jane, everyone. Red as a Tomato. She does many things, including but not limited to art, voice acting. She is a young woman of many talents.
And also shipping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, many of us in the campaign have sort of created what we call our own DM sonas, which is to say gods representing various aspects of writing and storytelling, I suppose. And Jane's DM Sona is Chiharu, the goddess of love and shipping.
Yep.
It's funny because like in like the modern ones, like it was still shipping related, and then now I'm just like, but like shipping, but like instead of an 11, it's a 12 now.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, and it's the thing is that she has been living for all of these ships being made canon.
Yeah, and just them being explored, and it's
yes.
also it's fun trindling when I get the chance. And
Of course.
Mhm.
Oh, but yeah, you guys are talking about modern cool. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Virgin.
I'm working on an animatic related to it, so.
Yeah.
Ooh, is it the one that you were like showing teasers of in
Yep.
channel?
Yep.
Ooh.
So, yes, and to give you an idea of basically just how vastly different we can be in terms of our story, some of you may know me from some I contributed to the Undertale fandom a few years back called "The Seeds Just Stick to You," in which I decided to be the biggest asshole possible and completely broke Alphys and Flowey. with my
Oh
story.
my god, Vin.
And so, appropriately, my DM persona is Frakopi, the god of obstacles and conflict. Basically, like, to every hurdle a character has to jump, or the divides between characters that normally would care very deeply for one another. Yeah, that's basically his shtick.
It's his domain.
And appropriately, Lindsay's DM persona, Laius, is the god of basically
Lorelai, please.
lore, literally.
No. You call me Lorelai, please.
Oh, apologies.
When we're in stream, call me Lore.
Yes. Did I even subconsciously didn't reveal? I apologize.
It's all good. People, I mean, it's not exactly like my name ain't out there, but like, anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so no, my DM Sona, if I'm allowed to actually introduce what's going on,
Fair enough.
is the character named Laius. Yes, it is very much borrowing from my username, Lai, for Lorelai, etc. And yes, she is the goddess of, well, she's called the Lore Master, and she is the goddess of storytelling.
Yeah.
And so far, it's even hilarious how our characters fit so well with their respective gods.
Mm-hmm.
Because this, we've talked about how before the implication is that they have now learned that they are part of a game being played by people.
Yeah.
So now they know that, and we're like, oh, okay, we're actually in this campaign. Okay, now. And so the thing is that Ophelia finds herself most often in the places where plot is happening. She's usually a big part of the exposition dumps and all sorts of things that are happening.
Yeah.
And she's also been helping to actually piece together, you know, a lot of the plot stuff.
Yeah, like her and Ken together are like power team in that regard.
They really are. There is
Yeah.
a reason why I've been like low-key shipping them from the start.
Brad, me since Modern 1. So many ships.
I know.
Speaking of, John Morrison in the chat, what do I have to sacrifice to the goddess of shipping for her to make my ship canon?
God, I wish I can help.
Unfortunately, her domain is somewhat limited to the Magic of the Mundane campaign, and also, like, you know, the art that she does, but...
And
Oh, yeah.
dice rolls. Oh my god, Mr.
I'm still mad at you for almost ruining all of the ships in the campaign that one day. Roll for ships. 2. Roll for some of the ships. Roll for them to have happy endings. Failure. Roll for them to have not bad endings. Failure. Like, Jane, stop! You're going to kill all of the ships this way.
They're already dead. They're already dead.
Thinking like that running gag because of the dice rolls of like she's like mixed at her job. She's doing her best, but
She did eventually roll and save the day, so...
Yeah.
I also love like the idea of like Char just flipping the table when
Oh, God.
when Ophelia was taking aim at Scout with the
So-
baseball.
Okay, and I actually have...
Human accident too. It was just like, you know when like you're leaning into the TV because like it's thinking like it's getting so good and it's like oh no what's gonna happen? Like she
Yeah.
stands up like what? And then her cape like cloak gets caught on the table and the table goes with her. And it's like flinch.
But yeah, it was... The headcanon is basically that... So originally, Scout released a spell that nearly total party killed everyone. And Ophelia, pissed off, turned around and shot a witch bolt at him, but unfortunately, fortunately it didn't connect. I thought it was unfortunate at the time. Where is it?
Please show that image if you can find it.
Yeah, no, it should be here somewhere. What?
If you need easy access, I can definitely, because I have it saved as well.
I also have it saved. I just have a fuck ton of art that I have to comb through, okay?
Really?
Boy.
Let's see. So I know what the name is. I just have to find the right folder. Fucking smartest twink. Anyway. Oh, there it is. I also love that Gabe's response to hearing about all of this was, Scout is everything.
Yes. Gabe, for specification, being our mutual friend Gail Rice, who we've also been telling about the campaign because it's us, and we will never shut up about it.
Nah. And his response to hearing about Scout was, Scout is everything. He is a badass and also a huge dork. And I'm like, yeah. So this was a rendering of that moment in game where he basically, so he'd already had his ass kicked, including by Owen shooting him in the face. And so he released a spell called Circle of Death and nearly killed everyone. Like, legitimately nearly killed everyone. So Ophelia whipped around and shot a witch bolt at him, and he was able to dodge in time. Because here's the thing, and again, I'm headcanoning it, that it's basically Chiharu intervening to make sure that that didn't happen because it would possibly ruin the ship.
It's like, wait, you guys have so much to live for together.
And the thing is that if she had connected, she might have killed him. Like, it would have taken a few rounds, but when Witchbolt connects, it doesn't stop doing damage until the person casting it drops their concentration on it.
Yeah.
So, and she's still learning her magic, so again, just roleplay-wise, she might have legit just fucking killed him.
Like a young rattlesnake with no full control over their venom.
Yeah. But so, it's hilarious looking back on that, and that whole encounter, and being like, yeah, would you have thought that someone who made this face at Scout would eventually be calling him up to flirt with him over the phone?
Yeah, darling.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, again, the name Darling is off the table for a little bit at this point, but even so, I still love the joke.
Maybe someday it'll come back. One can dream.
By the way, I still fucking love that drawing you did of Owen and Prin.
Is this a patsy?
Yes.
God, man.
Remind me, Jane. Did we ever show you that one?
I think I saw it in group chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was so fucking happy with that.
God, bitch, that one made me laugh when I saw it. I was like,
oh dear. But yeah.
Owen was going around trying to gather allies and was doing some shady shit with Prin that he eventually got called out on.
Basically, Owen, because of a bunch of things he's had to deal with, including like, what we mentioned with his mom. He has very little trust for most people, and so once everything started happening campaign-wise, he started going around to various people in the party, just trying to gather what intel he could on like the situation with magic and like secret meetings other members of the party were having. And one of those people he approached was Prin. While he didn't have anything like malicious in mind, the way he went about, asking her for info and implying that Ken, the member of the party that Prin is staying with, might not always be fully reliable.
Oh my god, but you tried to sow the seeds of doubt, and it was like, God, hey, dude.
That's not going to work. And then eventually Ken does, like, for someone who doesn't like people keeping secrets, you sure are doing a lot of shady things. Like, you don't think I noticed that you're having all of these clandestine meetings with Prin? So Ken of all people, getting a fucking backbone. I mean, it kind of makes sense when it's,
when the stakes.
Prin.
And again, the overarching theme of I can keep a secret.
Oh god.
Yeah, between like what it means for everyone, like Ophelia telling that one, and then like
Ophelia is
then
bragging. Owen is not happy about keeping secrets, but he knows that he can. And then there's Ken, who had a moment where he knew something that he couldn't tell people and was terrified that if it did come out that he knew this and didn't tell them that everyone would hate him.
Everyone
Yeah.
just own him.
So he said it like, I can keep a secret, like super dejected and sad.
Let me see if I can find that fucking picture, because that's another one I really love.
Yeah.
I mean, I can also open it on my end. I just don't want to keep interrupting the art, because I don't know if you noticed, I'm trying to
You
art.
are drawing. Yeah.
Aw.
it is in fact an art stream.
Let's see.
Well, yeah,
but-
I found it, but
There we
yeah.
are. Alright, may as well open it. So 3
yeah.
variations on I Can Keep a Secret.
Yeah.
And 3
That's so
very unfortunate children. Because again, the reason why Ophelia is bragging about being able to keep a secret is because that's her upbringing right there.
Yeah.
Like, she knows how to keep a secret because at least one of her parents are really good at being devious little shits.
Have we talked much about the prices on stream?
I think we have.
We talked
yeah.
about Timothy. I mean, or you guys talked about Timothy, I think, right?
Yeah.
True. I mean, here's the thing. Timothy is a bean.
Yes.
He
Absolute
is.
pure through and through. But their parents, on the other hand. I mean, I was.
Blaine means well. Like, honestly, he's very caught up in running the business that he owns. And Trudy, in her own way, means well. I'll say that much. It's just that, unfortunately, just like Ophelia, she was raised in an environment where flirtation, manipulation, and stuff like that were very...
The norm?
Yeah, that's just how you interact with people. And she has passed that on to Ophelia. So this 17-year-old girl is able to give someone a boner over the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so funny, because again, it's like literally he rolled a 2, so yeah, no, that's literally when it
Yeah.
fucking popped.
Yeah,
and
sorry, I was remembering that specifically.
And I remember Ken's, or rather Luke's reaction to that. Are you rolling for boners right now?
Oh, God, this year.
I mean, genuinely, they are building more of a rapport than just the, flirt and fluster stuff.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, they have connection, they have chemistry, they have genuine things to bond over, and it's great, and I love it, and I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I know you're happy about this.
Hi.
I remember hearing when you first describing like Ophelia's family and specifically the parents, and at first I was very convinced that I'm sorry, his name escapes me. Ophelia's dad,
Blaine.
Blaine. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Blaine.
Blaine. Sorry again. My apologies. I was convinced he was gonna be basically like Jacques Cheney from Ruby, just complete, because like there's another character from that show who is like very much an heiress type of character, and her dad is 111% asshole through and through. Like married into the family through mom, and just manipulated everything from there. Like steady abuse of all members of the family. But I've been happy to learn more and more about Blaine and see that he is not in fact complete through and through asshole.
Unfortunately, the problem is that there is technically neglect on his part because he was so caught up in the business side of things. So it's like, I remember even talking to Gab about some of it, but that because he was so cut off emotionally that at some point Ophelia started becoming very quiet and rational and cold.
She learned it from him.
Yeah.
I'm also amused, and it's gonna hopefully come up in this next session at some point, because I wrote some dialogue between the two of them. There's a long, complicated story, so to speak. But I wrote some dialogue between the two of them as to when Ophelia brings Scout home with her.
Oh boy!
There's gonna be some shenanigans involved in that, but basically, I'm not gonna say all of it, but I remarked to Gabby at the time, and if you may notice, this is literally Ophelia talking to herself. 2 different aspects of her personality talking to each other. And Gab was like, "Oh my god, I see it!" But it's like, yeah, if we ever... Again, it's one of those, if the kids ever meet her parents, it's going to be an instant, I understand everything now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to think that at least Alex has met the mom already.
Oh god, no.
Oh,
Alex
yeah.
probably has. Alex being another one of their classmates at school.
It basically,
Please.
He's
Alex,
He's the fuck boy. He will flirt with anything as
Yeah.
long as it's moving and probably capable of giving consent.
yeah,
I imagine consent is on his list.
Yeah, it's on
I
his
would hope.
list. It's one of those things where if they want him to back off, then he's like,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
He'll
To the next person.
Yeah, exactly. There are plenty of options.
yeah. I think the best, because like here's the thing, fuckboy is generally a character who is inherently unlikable. But like whenever I think of like how can we make a fuckboy likable, the character that instantly comes to mind is Captain Jack Harkness from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love the man. He is, I mean, even the actor himself is just a fucking joy, and the character is very much. Well, I mean, he's badass. He's open to just about everyone and everything, you know, regardless of like gender identification or orientation. He sees like the beauty and you know, appeal in everyone, and I think that's really cool, character-wise.
Yeah. God, I have to fucking look up a
It works
reference
out.
for this.
Yeah.
Alright. But yeah, no, so the thing is that I suspect that Alex as a character has absolutely come to mow the lawn for the prices. Because I could see him basically like trying to flirt with Trudy, and of course Trudy would be like, okay, fuckboy.
Exactly. Get on my level. Also, yes, exactly, John. He's cheesy, but good cheesy.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I can draw things that look good.
you
Yeah,
can.
you can.
No, I can't. I'm sarcastically remarking on it because, in fact, I cannot.
You have two people in call and many in chat who beg to differ.
I like how the chorus said, no, wait, you can, you actually can do this.
No, you can. No.
Objection.
Leave Nick out of this. He's got enough problems. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't even play those games.
I mean, nor have I, but I think like I think the most I've seen of Ace Attorney has been like some highlights of Cryotic's live streams playing I think the first game.
Ooh.
Yeah, which was interesting from what I recall, and just I've also seen like that one clip of like the live action movie is like, so you're saying this happened the night before Christmas? Would that technically be Christmas Eve and everyone just like falling over her face palming?
That movie is definitely yeah, I think I know the gift that you're talking about. Or
Yeah.
no, you actually saw the entire scene. Yeah, if you guys get a chance, like, even if it's like Let's Play, like, it's a fun series.
Possibly. I know.
And the movies, it's fun in its own right too. Like, at least, but I'm biased. So.
Aw. Trying to draw a phone, it becomes a banana, so it's a banana phone. A ring, 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 banana phone.
Banana phone.
Also, you're a good artist, Lore. Thank you, Phoenix.
Yes.
Thank you.
Speaking of mystery stuff, I eventually, like, Laura, you and I have to look into watching maybe, if possibly at some point, Danganronpa V3.
Ooh.
Yeah, possibly at some point down the line.
Like the anime?
No,
Or the
game.
actual video game?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think they made an anime of the V3.
I don't believe so. No.
No, I was thinking of the other one. That was like
Yeah,
sticking
it was
backstory for-
yeah, it was Danganronpa 3, which
Mhm.
is why they had to distinguish it from the third game sequentially, which was
Yeah,
V3.
V3. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
jumping
Which
to whoop.
Which reminds me, Tex recently told me the other day about a Danganronpa-esque game called Your Turn to Die, which is apparently a browser game that like apparently automatically saves your progress if you like close the browser,
Oh, that's
or at least
convenient.
yeah, and it's apparently very much in the same spirit as Danganronpa, which intrigued me. I've yet to actually give it a shot, but they
Well, that's
definitely
because you
sold me
hate
on the
video
concept.
games.
Well, yes, but
Aw.
I mean, to specify, I hate the current state of video games, at least as
Oh,
far
okay,
as
that's
the
fair, that's
AAA
fair.
industry is. Yeah,
Yeah.
But also, you
it-
hate video games.
I mean, I think it's like more like I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase
You have
this.
too much.
Like,
You have too much that you're already doing to spend time playing video games. Especially when they try to spend as much time as they can, making the games inconvenient for you.
you know what? That's an apt summary, actually.
And the thing is, too, if you're not having fun, I mean, what's the point, you know? Do
Exactly.
it if you yeah, do it if you're like into it and want to enjoy doing it. But like, you know.
Now the
Yeah.
fun thing is when he starts arguing about how like the remasters of older video games aren't really all that important, and I'm like, well, that they're wasted.
Some parts of the game.
But it's to each individual. That's my argument: is each individual person's decision whether or not they want to play these remasters and buy them over and over again.
That's true, and you have raised a good point with that. So, like, basically, in terms of my own personal tastes, I don't see myself ever, because as far as my own personal tastes are concerned, like, if you like a game enough, you would have kept the original, and just like people making new version after new version after new version of like the same game that you've already enjoyed is basically just one big major like cash grab.
It can be, but if they're actually remastering the graphics, for example, like if they're turning something that was really blocky into something that's a lot more recognizable, if they're polishing things, if they're fixing up like coding bugs and stuff like that, I think that is actually worth spending some money on because that was work that was put into making it that way.
That's true. I guess I will say this. I love Pokemon. Pokemon is the one game series I stuck with the longest. Pokemon is the most guilty of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, the recent, like, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon bullshit. Like...
yeah.
Like, it's like, again, the games are fine, but the newer versions are not worth paying another, like, $60 for. Because they're virtually the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And like that's the stuff I specifically have a problem with. Especially, and in addition to things like the fucking the Kingdom Hearts like insert number here 0.8 or 6 or what the fuck ever, because it's only just the addition of a couple different things where again it just frustrates me that so many game companies get away with selling so many different versions of the exact same fucking game. Like, this is basically the exacerbated version of this definitive edition, like, trend of games. Like, another example is, like, when they release different versions of the Persona games, where all this changes. Oh, we added a new character. Is it the same game? Well, we added a new character and everything, but is it the same game? Is it the same story? Well, yes, but then why?
I feel like you're getting.
Why though?
I feel like you're getting really angry about this,
Yeah.
and you need to calm your tits.
That's
like...
right. I'll call Salt Shaker on myself.
Okay. Modern games are too fucking expensive. They really are, because they keep trying to, it's still only $60, and it's like, yeah, for an incomplete game. That Sword and Shield didn't go full Zelda when they had the chance. You know?
Missed opportunities, man.
Well, that's just it. Like, the way I see it, Sword and Shield, they experimented with a concept. Some people didn't like. I mean, I'm not. I don't own any video game consoles at this point. Like, the only real gaming things I have are my 3DS XL and my computer, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I don't really have a right to weigh in on the whole Sword and Shield thing. But as far as that goes, like, whenever you have a new Pokemon game, for a new console. I always see the first entry for that one as experimental. So it's, and again, Pokemon has always been guilty of shady fucking things with terms of like, let's sell 2 versions of the same game, just because. But it is what it is, and people will either be happy with it or not, and it's yeah. That's just it. I find myself kind of. It's odd why I have specific exceptions to some of the things that irk me or not, or at least not exceptions so much as why certain things irk me more than others. And I think a big part of that is because I've sort of gone practically to the point of these kids don't know what video games are nowadays back in my day, and I hate that. I honestly do hate that.
Aww.
Because I definitely recognize that it's a boomer mindset.
Only 60 is still a lot of money. That's the thing. It's like, especially in this economy, and I'm sorry we're going back to socialism, but especially
I'm always up for that.
Especially in this economy where people are making less money, they don't have like any openness for kind of expenditures, they don't have the ability to afford these things casually, so like nowadays most people are like using streams and let's plays as like their preview for a game to see if it's even something that they want to spend the money on. But like, we're getting to the point where people just literally cannot afford it. And so we're going back to piracy because these fuckers keep breaking our trust.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of the things that gets me the strongest fucking argument for piracy is when I think of, like, I remember when Dragon Age 2 came out, and it was, like, cracked almost immediately. The thing is, this is also true of, like, Mass Effect 2 and 3. I know this, because these are the games that I have played, so I've had the most experience with them. Their digital rights management made it so that if you do not have an internet connection active when you boot up the game, if they can't send a little bit of a check out to the servers that host that game, like they have dedicated servers literally just to check whether or not the installed DLC is something that you own, they will lock you out of the DLC. They will lock you out of being able to play the DLC that you have already bought and paid for that. And so if you're doing it legitimately, you buy these things, you pay for them, you integrate them into the game. If you don't have an internet connection, like say your internet is down, but you want to play a game, that's how you want to kill your time while you're waiting for the internet to come back. Whoops, nope, you can't play the DLC stuff because now it's they're saying, oh, because you're not aligned, you don't own these things, so we're not going to let you have them. These things that you've already bought and paid for. But piracy? The people who cracked the game, who went through and actually cracked all of the DLC, made it so that if you are offline, you can play those DLC. They have made it more convenient to do it the illegal way, to do it the way through piracy. So it's like, when you make it less convenient to actually pay for this shit, when you make it more appealing to do piracy, because if only the piracy will allow you to play the games that you've already paid for. Is it always online bad idea? Yeah, it's still going, and they're making it even worse that you have to like always have that online connection going so that not only can they check that you still own the game, but so that they can try and bombard you with advertisements and try and get you to have to log in every day because that's engagement. There's a lot of sketchy shit going on with the video game industry nowadays, especially with AAA developers.
Yeah, which is one of many reasons why I'm a big proponent of offline only gaming.
Mm-hmm. There are games that came out 30 years ago that I will still boot up and play.
Yeah.
Like, I still love those games because they're good games. I boot up the Sierra games all the time. You even watched me play a couple of those games.
Yeah.
And they still hold up. The writing is good, the art is good, the gameplay is solid, and whatever bugs there are really minor and don't overshadow the entire game.
Yeah.
But just wondering, what are your thoughts on Fortnite? I don't know enough about it to really comment on it.
Same.
I don't like Because that's the one that's owned by Epic Games, right?
I think that's I think that might be PUBG, but I honestly don't
No,
know
no, no.
enough,
Pub-
to
no.
differentiate.
No, it's not PUBG. I think it is Fortnite that's
Okay.
owned by Epic Games. I don't like Epic Games
Yeah.
because they've done the shady shit to try and lock out Steam, which, again, I'm not saying Steam doesn't deserve it, but at the same time, when you're doing shady shit to try and choke out the market, you're creating problems for the users at the same time.
Yeah. So like, go ahead.
Well, yeah, so, sorry. I don't like the AAA development. I prefer a lot of the indie developers that are out there because they are now definitely doing it for the love of the games that they're making.
Oh yeah.
And I can still play those games, like, offline, and I can still enjoy them.
Supporting independent artists.
Yeah. And I have no problem actually supporting, like, I want to do things the legit way. I do. I want the people who work on these things to actually see, payment for the work that they have done. And unfortunately, the problem that I even have now, and pardon me while I get super incensed about this, the people who are actually making the games, the actual programmers, the employees that are doing all of the work to make sure that these games are as polished as they could be, the ones that they are working under crunch for, the ones that they are having their lives fucking ruined for, are not only not getting paid what they are worth, but they are even being fired when the company does well because they want to try and make sure that their stocks don't, like, that because people are going to drop stocks, because it's a complicated thing, but the shareholders within each company, basically, as soon as you are making a little bit less money than you did previously, after you've already skyrocketed to earning billions of dollars, will suddenly start selling their stock. And if they sell the stock, then the people who are making money off of that stock are going to find themselves losing money. So that's why you can have a massively successful game, something that makes you billions of dollars, and still find the employees fired and let go because the bosses are like, well, we have to do what we can to now save money because we might be losing some shareholders because we have been so successful that we might find ourselves dropped in the near future. Yeah, and that's why I don't agree with people owning shares of stock within something, especially in a creative field. And never mind the fucking things like, oh god, I feel very passionately, but like the concept of crunch in itself is so stupid.
Yeah.
And they've taken it to ridiculous heights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, basically the long and short of it is, like, we both, I don't want to speak for Jane, but, like, at least, Laura and I, we definitely far prefer, indie developers, are far more willing to contribute to indie developers because not only do they generally put out better fucking games anyway, but also, you're contributing to someone who's actually worked on the game, who's actually, when there are updates or things available, they actually are for the purposes of making the game better. Like, I've only seen, like, maybe 1 or 2 patches to Undertale, for example, and they were specifically for things like, okay, so this shade of blue is differential from this shade of blue now for those who have color blindness, making it a little easier to play. And, like, that shit I can definitely get behind.
Yeah, it's more accessible.
Yeah, because normally I have a big fucking problem with games that automatically install a bunch of fucking updates, whether you want them or not. Thankfully, Undertale is one of those games where you can actually choose, well, depending on the platform, rather, but at least the earliest version for, like, the computer, you could actually choose whether or not you wanted to update things, and that I already appreciate. But when you also look at the things like, okay, no, this is actually meant to improve the experience, yeah, I will opt for that. Giving me a choice as a player goes a long way with me.
So, and John, this whole conversation got really heated, and I feel like I contributed a lot to it. I mean, you sparked it, but that's the thing. I feel this heated about it all the time. I don't always talk about it, but I am very passionate about the way that people are treated by their employers, and especially with video games, which have been a major part of my life since I was very small. But, like, this shit I do feel passionate about because I am tired of people who work their asses off, not only finding a lack of appreciation for what they're doing, but like
punished also.
Yeah. getting
They get-
punished also.
Yeah, getting punished for it. Not like this goes even back to like 3D the visual arts studios that like do the 3D art for these major movies and publications being
like
shut down.
Sound effect. I mean, the visual effects people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like these entire studios that find themselves not only under crunch, having to do an extensive amount of work for people who aren't paying them nearly enough for it, only to have that studio shut down because they're also not paying the profits of the millions of dollars that these companies make using that work.
Yeah, the one that immediately comes to mind was the recent thing with the Sonic movie.
Which was super...
Oh, yeah. That was depressing.
Yeah, like, because, like, regardless of how you feel about Sonic, that is some grade A bullshit that they pulled there.
Absolutely. So, let's see. So, yeah.
So anyway, let's get back to talking about Modem so we can actually feel good.
I don't think Modem is going to make us feel good.
It will at least make us not feel as angry.
Well...
Let's talk about it. Well, actually, yeah, no, let's talk about ships then. That makes me happy.
Oh my god, Fish!
Jane's like, now you're speaking my fudging language.
But like, to be fair, like, just to quickly finish up from a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like, y'all have a right to feelings and stuff. Like, it's a really, like, poopy situation.
Gee!
So, like, I was gonna say
we
she's
love you,
talking...
Jane.
I was gonna say she's talking mushrooms, but that doesn't really
That's fine.
feel...
Yeah,
that's...
whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
Sorry
like,
to derail you.
No worries. Like it's a really bad situation. So it's like, no, you have a right to be up in arms in it about it. It's like, because it stinks. But yeah. So yeah, don't worry. Your feelings are valid. But yeah.
Well, I know my feelings are valid. I know that it can be a lot to listen to someone get angry about something.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys have picked up on this, but Jane is adorable. She replaces a lot of questionable words with her own punny replacements. Like there's oh my codfish.
Fudge sticking.
Fudge sticking is a common one.
Apples and apple cake.
Whole wheat fudge.
Whole wheat fudge.
Nice.
I still. Before that, it was holly fudge, but I'm like, it doesn't have that same punch. And then whole wheat came up, and I was like, oh, I'm using you now.
It works so well.
It does. I'm so glad.
Is the real life Pinkie Pie? No, that's not quite true. Jane is adorable. I think that the only real life Pinkie Pie that I know is Chi Chi.
Yeah. Yeah, that I can attest. I mean, we are technically neighbors.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we both live in the Portland area.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
The Portland area, which is, Portland.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Portland. The way I like to think, Portland feels like less like a city and more like a county.
You've said it a few times, yes.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, granted, yes, there's the actual urban area of it, but no, it stretches. It feels like this actually just big collective of. It's so fucking like varied in the types of places you can live, and I think that's part of why I love it so much.
Yeah, you've been a lot happier since moving out there.
Yeah,
Like
That's good.
I was happy to hear that you took a shining to it as well when you visited.
Yes, the phrase that I keep using is that I felt homesick for a place I've never actually lived before.
Yeah.
Because knowing that I had to leave was when I was like, oh, but I like it here.
But I want to stay.
Yeah.
You'll be back soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah,
but that's why I
again,
keep trying to promote my channels, because if they're successful and they're, financially viable for me, then I can feel safe being able to afford rent out that way.
Yeah.
So.
And again, Jane, we would also be very down to have you visit at some point.
Oh yes.
For sure. Someday. I just need to figure out offline stuff.
If nothing else, there's also
one day at a time.
because there's also the con, the Rose City Comic Con, I think it is.
Rose City Comic Con, among various other cons in the city.
So there are
which
even
would
other
be good
excuses.
opportunities. Yeah,
Other opportunities.
absolutely.
Someday, man, someday.
Yeah, because Portland is also a place that celebrates fucking everything.
Yeah.
There's various, festivals and conventions and things. Plenty of opportunities for people to come and just have a gay old time.
Literally.
I mean, I was about to say it's also the place where I attended my first Pride, which was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been exciting. Oh my god, Vish.
It was interesting. I was a little nervous going into it because I wasn't sure. Because I even remember asking some people walking to the actual event, like, is there any like discourse with like Ace and Arrow representation? And they assured me, no, that's just online bullshit, man. Everyone's welcome here.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
they were
will-
like, no, man, welcome aboard.
There are
Yeah.
some people who try to take over Pride events and make it like gatekeepy, but for the most part, in the real world, people who are actually part of the community are like, dude, let's not cut these people out. They're part of the community. They have been the entire time.
Oh yeah, and like, granted, I'm fairly new to like, well, considering myself to be part of the LGBTQ plus community, but like, and especially with like Portland events. But from what I could tell, they are very much all inclusive and all welcoming.
Aww.
I apologize if anyone with more experience in that regard has any horror stories in that regard. I don't mean to make a blanket statement in that regard, but
Yeah.
from
In
my
that regard.
own personal experience, yeah.
In that regard, though.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hey,
No
I
worries.
used that sentence a lot during this last session. In that regard.
Yeah. Fair, but yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot that I loved about Portland, and even just small things like the overall feel of it, the fact that it is so very well structured for like foot traffic as opposed to most places which seem to emphasize car traffic.
Yeah.
It's just visually beautiful, it is complex, it is diverse, like I guess in every sense of that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
Yeah, I will say it could be more diverse. I mean, gentrification is a thing in Portland, unfortunately. But I mean, people do seem to be aware of it, and hopefully there are more and more people actively working to try and reverse that shit. But yeah, because that's just it. Like, for as much as I love the city, I know it's not perfect, but I still love it, and I would love to see more and more people, work on improving the things that do need improving, like the homeless situation.
Because I mean, and we've even remarked on this, but like, yeah, you see quite a few homeless people in the city, and you know why I think that's, I mean, it's not a good thing, but why that's a better sign of how things are in this city? Because you see them.
Yeah.
There are
like,
still, there are homeless in every city.
Yeah. But like, they don't put like spiky structures or anything beneath bridges or stuff to try and prevent people from living there.
Yeah, that's. Ugh.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting, and that's why I was like, I'm not happy that these people are homeless. I want them to be in, like, can we fix that,
Better
please?
situations.
But, like, they're not
Yeah.
being chased out of all public spaces just for existing.
Oh yeah, and there are also a handful of like establishments in Portland that offer like free food to people who are in those types of desperate situations.
And I still love the fucking, like, I mean, just like the little details that shows such a thriving community. Like, going by the barbershop with the sign out front that said, what was it? We take walk-ins, and it's
Walk-ins welcome.
or walk-ins welcome, and it has an illustration of Christopher Walken.
Yes.
I love that.
The fucking the Thai restaurant called Thai Pod. And my favorite was a poster of Donald Trump that said, "Whose child is this?"
Oh my god, this.
And mind you, again, that was just fucking posted, like, in a public space.
Yeah.
So, I gotta say, in contrast with being out here in one of the red states,
Yeah.
I don't think something like that you would get away with it out here. Like, I love how there was, in Arizona, there was that one guy who was writing, like, penis man on everything, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my god.
and, like, they were offering a fucking bounty for penis man!
Oh yeah. Wait. Meanwhile, in Portland, where Antifa get a police escort.
Mm.
I'm sorry, just the warrant out for fish sticking.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
you're fine. But yeah, it's definitely. I feel very much happier living here than I was in my previous. Not to say like my
Ye-
previous living situation was especially shitty,
Yeah.
but here
This
at
is
least I
better.
feel. Yeah, I feel things are actually progressing here.
Yeah. And you have, like, the cabin was nice. It was lovely. Spider's accepting, but, you know. I think we've even talked about that before, but whenever I go out there, the thing is that when you live in a cabin in the middle of the woods, you are inevitably going to be encountering a little bit of wildlife. And part of that wildlife includes insects and spiders and the like. So a few of these spiders managed to make it into the cabin at various points. There was one point where we had briefly gone outside, and as we were going inside, this big spider came running across the door. And Griffin just out of nowhere fucking kicked the door. And I was like, what? And he goes, there was a spider.
Like, well, here's the thing.
Unwanted guest.
When your best friend is over and you know they have an issue with spiders, you want to try and alleviate the situation as quickly as possible, so
You
as
want
to
to destroy the spiders.
Yeah.
alleviate any potential anxiety.
But the fun one for me was when I was in the shower and I stepped out and I saw this big ass spider hanging out by the doorway, and I was like, oh, that's a problem. And then I
Hi
was
there.
so like I had my eyes locked on this spider as I am very quickly drying off and putting on clothes. And then at some point when I was, decent, I was like, hey, Griffin? And he's like, yeah. I was like, there's a big spider in here. Can I have your help getting rid of it? And I was like, I'm dressed. Don't worry about that. But I need your help. And he comes in and he's like looking around, and I point up at the ceiling, and he kind of is like, where? I was like, right above your head. He
Oh,
finally...
it's a big boy.
It's like, look up. Look with your eyes.
How can you miss it? It's a big black spot on this mint
It's
green
literally
ceiling.
just like Miles Morales.
I wish I could hug Jane too, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Aw, hugs all y'alls.
Yeah, not too hard because we don't want ketchup.
Yes. Well, I want
Yeah.
ketchup, but I would prefer to keep Jane.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
okay. It'll be a noble sacrifice.
I mean...
That's the Chiharu sacrifice we were talking about. Yeah, it's fun. Like I know it's a typical we have fun here, but legit, I always have a fun ass time talking with with Laura on the streams, and it's always nice to chat with when we're lucky enough to get people from the Modem campaign in here as well.
It's fun.
Especially 'cause-
Yeah.
So, by the way, Jane, whenever we
Yeah?
actually get off stream at some point, I would love to share some of the arguments that I have been typing up for Ophelia when it comes to Scout. Hopefully, once they actually get into talking with Weldon. So this is a little bit of a thing, but they agreed to table the discussion on whether or not one or the other of them was going to change their mind about Dahia until they could actually talk with someone who had some much more direct experience with Dahia being a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Let's to hear, seriously.
Wow, you just went full Owen there.
You're
Yeah.
not wrong.
And so that conversation is kind of slated potentially to be happening in this next session. And among other things, I have been, Weldon is one of the NPC of this campaign that I have frequently talked about because I have fallen in love with this guy because, like, I don't know why as if I don't know why you're giggling, Jane. Like, I haven't seen the art that you've been posting.
Listen, it's shipping, okay?
It's shipping! Yeah, that's right, it's shipping! I know what it is. I know that you turn bright red at the fact that someone might walk past your open door when you're drawing him shirtless.
Okay, hold on. Let's not go into too much detail there.
Yeah. Let's,
I'm not going to describe what it was that you were drawing, just shirtless.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll give
Enough
just
said.
a little
I'm sorry,
context. I shipped
No,
the
no, it's
pixie
alright.
friend with Malden, and that's what she's referring to. Why
Yeah.
there's so many Malden pictures. But
yeah.
anyways, yeah.
No, that's fine, and I apologize too. I find it adorable and endearing, but I apologize. Anyway.
No, it's all good. It just kind of.
I like when no one asks my opinion on this.
I mean, okay, because like we're recording, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because like we're recording. And I think we've mentioned before, but Weldon, officially Weldon is like voiced by Griffin. Not necessarily live during the campaign, because that would be kind of hard to do. But in instances where it might be like actually recorded stuff, like his inclusion in the Ballad of Lorelei.
Yeah, I've basically been headcanon cast by the DM as the character.
And I've been enjoying the hell out of it, I will say that much.
Yeah, you have been.
But, oh yeah, no, it's one of the quickest ways to get Jane to start steaming.
Listen, because my ship. I'm sorry, I ship them so much.
It's fine.
Yeah. I even created fan kits.
I'm in your head cannons, capturing all your best bitches.
I mean, they turned out cute, but.
Welcome to the
Fucking guinea pig!
I was gonna say that's the fucking jackhammer of satisfaction, right? Wow.
Wow, phrasing.
Yeah. Look, I can't even fucking help it at this point. No wonder Ophelia's so good at it.
You know, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's good practice for when Ophelia goes to destroy the scout.
Well, that's just... I'm sorry, what was that sentence?
You know?
Well, whatever it was, we have it recorded.
To destroy scout! And remember the roll for composure, and he keeps getting low rolls?
He's been doing... No, he was doing a lot better this last conversation.
He was, yes.
Okay, yeah, let's give him credit where
He
credit's
was
due.
keeping his composure a little bit better, although I still loved the... I should have expected that.
Oh, man.
They are absolutely adorable, but as cute as they are, we need to stop consuming the entire session with them.
I mean...
But there have been a lot of moments, like, even just especially in this last conversation, and especially because they were able to turn, like, what could have been the end of the conversation back into something actually pleasant and even adorable.
Yeah. God. I mean, that's just it. Like, for all of Ophelia's, like, eagerness to take matters into her own hands without necessarily consulting the rest of the team, she's doing a decent enough job of avoiding war.
Yeah?
Or at least postponing it.
Yeah.
Well, and also, like, defanging some of the potential opponents.
Yeah?
Like, that's officially her excuse to the other people, is like, yeah, well, I mean, if we get Scat out of there, then there's one less Mage of Dahlia, you know? So let's see what we can do.
Is the cherry on top.
Thank you for stealing my phrase.
Oh my god.
That's what I do.
You thief! You stole my idea! You stole my
Between Wilson
patent!
and the fucking, like, Jackbox Party Pack game idea.
I cannot draw a fucking eyebrow. Anyway.
Oh, mood.
Listen.
What? What?
Hold up. Hold
What?
the fuck up.
Hold
Oh,
that
this-
fucking
this
up.
requires addressing because the fuck you say.
Hi.
The fuck you say? You can't draw.
Hi.
Listen. Just because a tomato has arms doesn't mean you can't fucking make wonderful pieces of... You draw better than me!
Hi.
Of course, that's not saying much, but...
You draw better than me.
No?
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna fight you on this.
I'm gonna fight you.
This is literally Artist Friend's comic. Ah!
Ah!
Yeah. the aggressive scream from one, just the deflating sound from the other.
And yet the we're both like, equally angry.
Exactly.
When the war never changes.
Oh, art never changes. I mean, that's just it. I don't see myself improving much anyway.
No,
do.
you've been improving.
Yeah.
A little
It's
bit.
pretty. I
Yeah.
like it
Well,
a
thank you.
lot.
But I'm having fun with this animatic. I really can't wait to get done with it so that everyone, especially Gab, can scream.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! It's gonna be fun. I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
glad you're getting into animatics too. Woo!
I mean,
Yeah.
I've done a handful of them. I
Oh,
need
yeah.
to re-upload the Do You Like Mazes one.
I was about to
Ooh.
say.
That one, I can actually link that to you because I still have it on this channel. I just have it unlisted. For those of you who don't know, I have a bunch of
Yeah.
things that I'm re-uploading to my Sirenia Studios account. Please check it out. Please support that channel. I would really like to make that a successful thing where I'm making original content and being able to make money doing that because otherwise I don't have much of an income. But anyway.
Wilson
And-
proposes.
Isn't that the one where the Ballad of Laura?
Yep.
They sung that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Specifically, I believe it was with the Ebe LP.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which, again, I had fun providing the audio editing for that animatic and just editing the LP series in general.
Yeah. You did a great job with that.
Thank you.
Ooh.
But I really did also like how that one turned out.
Yeah.
Visual wise, like I had fun with that.
Yeah.
And the brief animation with JoJo.
Yeah, just do.
Can't wait
to get him out.
And I loved like that as a response to, well, but what about David Bowie? That's fair. do, can't wait to get a mouthful.
And just, you and I are just like, oh my god. Oh man.
We've just spoiled the entire animatic, but to be fair, it was also posted before, so
Oh yeah, but it's still funny as hell.
it's still.
Yeah.
And I do I do some animation stuff. I need to do more animatics. This is an example of my deciding to do that because,
Yeah, and I'm so fucking happy that this campaign has just been inspiring all of us to get more and more in touch with our creative side.
Yeah, I haven't drawn this much digital art in
Yes.
like ages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a bit of a artistic renaissance for me as well. I don't think that I was doing nearly as much art before we started this campaign.
Oh yeah.
So,
And like while I can't draw for shit, I have been doing things like making like
edited animatic
Videos!
stuff. Yeah.
basically like animatic stage directions is I guess the thing I would use to describe where I type out like paragraphs for like certain sections of songs as to like okay what's going on between these lyrics here and then move on to the next frame of what's going on here and I've done a couple of those right now. One of them for basically the what is conceptually the anime opening for Magic of the Mundane.
And also, okay, like the Fidgeting and Crime Times.
Oh, I'm glad you like that one too. That I was really happy that like Lore even made those because I saw those pieces of art and I was like, I'm going to destroy these.
That sounds like a lot of what you have done to me and my channel.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ruin it.
Such a
I'm
good
gonna wreck
collab,
it.
though.
oh yeah, it's
I am still so happy also just with the chemistry between the fantasy characters. Like,
Yeah.
we've talked about them on and off, but like they get along.
Wholesome.
It is. They've just
Yes.
become this found family, like straight out the gate, like immediately within the first moments of all of them meeting. They all just.
Vivian peaked adopting everyone.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
just it.
Basically.
And it like even going back because we originally did this campaign like 2 years ago, almost 3 actually.
2 years.
Don't, you're gonna fry.
Sorry.
You're gonna fry if you do that anyway. So we had an original campaign and it was actually turned into a podcast and that was posted. A couple of episodes ended up not getting posted because that campaign unfortunately ended just for various reasons.
A lot was going on.
Yeah. But like I contrast like how Sam recruited everyone in the first campaign versus how it happened in this campaign. He didn't have to do shit to recruit them. They literally recruited themselves by putting on a fucking show, and then Sam joined in and was like, oh. He's like, okay, I can play a violin.
Yeah.
And it just...
Peak sitting there with the fireball in hand.
Well, it wasn't the fireball, it was she did prestidigitation and made that card that Vinny was trying to do appear in her hand.
Yeah.
But...
And then Ham.
because they did the little illusion of a cat and mouse chasing each other around the room. And they did this cooperative spell where they do this, and then Ham, being a tabaxi, and a tabaxi bard no less, saw the mouse of the cat and mouse and started chasing it.
And then there was Ham.
And so, realizing that they now had a show, they focused on leading Ham around the room, and Sam, seeing this, stood up and started playing the violin to give little comedic music backdrop to everything.
It worked so well.
And it was so beautiful. It was just this, and then of course, like, the innkeeper was like, okay, all right, you put on a good show, so I'm gonna pay you for that. And then from there, it was just literally, hey, you wanna go do things that help people? Yeah!
But the king's like, are we a team now? Yeah.
I guess so.
Are we a team now? I think we are!
Mm-hmm.
But, like, in the original campaign, Sam was going around to all of these various characters and being like, hey, you want to join up and, like, you know, seek glory and help people? And, like, there were various responses. And there was a lot of, yeah, sure. Or, you know, as long as it gets me out of here, please take me with you. Or,
And
yeah.
then came your character.
And then came Delphine, who is a very different character from the fantasy character I made for this campaign. And she was like, can you give me a good reason why I should join you in doing this? And Sam was like, 'cause it helps people? Yes, but what is an incentive for me to join this campaign? It sounds like this is something that you're not able to do on your own, and so you're recruiting other people to do your work for you. And I just love, there was like this, I love that in the actual recording, the music managed to, like, die off there just as Gabby goes, dang, Lorelai. Like, this poor boy being interrogated by Delphine. He was not ready.
She went full logician on him.
I mean, basically. She did eventually agree to come and help, but it's just like, Delphine is a druid who, is used to not only being a loner, but having been abandoned by most people her entire life. So, like, what reason does she have to suddenly take up the mantle of being this hero that helps people? So, she eventually...
She has every reason to be cautious.
Oh,
yeah, especially when you have this little fucking twerp who comes up and is like, I want to save the world!
He's doing that!
He's still a twerp. And a goddamn twink at that. I mean, he's not a twink anymore, we can say that, but...
Yeah.
Definitely not a twink.
Oh, yeah.
No, that title gets to go to Scout now.
Oh, yeah.
I still love how
He's
in...
the smartest twink in the room.
Yes, he's the smartest twink in the world. But what I even love, like... God, we've got a lot of interesting meme characters, so to speak. We've got the himbo and duo. We've got the twink and Scout. We've got the Bara and Mwelden.
Yeah. Where's the lie?
Trying to think of, there was, but there was a lot that has been happening in this campaign. I'm just trying to bring my thought process back to where it was before this. Tell them about the Twinkie lore.
I think they're talking about Scout.
Oh, well, I've already talked about Scout.
Oh, yeah.
But, so this is cute.
I do love how Sam ended up going from twink to twunk across these two campaigns.
I mean... What's even funnier is that he's also, that's the funny thing though, is that he's also de-aged. In the original campaign, he was 21 when they met him, and in this one, he's now 19.
He's not.
Yeah.
But, But yeah, no, there's a lot that's going on with that. I think I talked about the big reveal that was going on there, but
Yeah.
Oh god, there's that reveal. Yeah.
It
Fucking
is
Sam.
poor Sammy.
Yeah.
He did not deserve. I don't even care how evil he was as Weldon. He did not deserve that.
Oh yeah. Because I still love the fucking when Gab showed you the picture of Wona at Rock Bottom. It's like it's the Wolfman.
No, that was him screaming. It was him screaming in absolute agony and rage, and I was like, "It's the Wolfman!"
Oh my god.
And Gab was like, Gab lost it because again, the context for that image was just absolute awfulness.
Heartbreaking.
And here I am making fun of him.
In fairness, you couldn't have known back then.
Well, but I know I could tell from the context. First of all, the illegal picture was posted first. And then the shot of him screaming. He was screaming. He was clearly upset
Okay.
and enraged.
Okay.
My comment
I
was
take
just
that back.
it hit me over the head to say it's the Wolfman. And I was like, okay, you know what? Now I have to. So I was just like, it's the Wolfman. And Gab was like, you know what? Fuck you.
God.
Like, I was not expecting that. Oh my god, fuck you. Anyway.
God, Vince.
Oh, Lord, but now there's a lot of good things in this campaign. There's a reason we can literally spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours talking about it. I have been doing so much art for this campaign. I have only showed a fraction of the art for this campaign that I have done. Some of it I haven't even shown the others because some of it is spoilery.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's such a weird because like I've been able to divulge some of what I've gotten stored to like Gab and Jane because Jane plays an NPC and Gab is the DM. But
Yep.
again, I'm sitting on top of these ideas and I'm just sitting eagerly and anxiously waiting for what the fucking fallout is gonna be.
See, because here's the other part of that. You and I usually talk about everything. You and I
True.
usually share a lot of our ideas with each other when something is like, when we're excited about something, we usually share that stuff. We
Yeah.
can't do this with this campaign because we want each other's
it
raw
fucking-
reactions.
And it fucking kills me because I want to tell you all the things.
Same! I want to tell you all the things. I wanted to tell about the fucking scout thing straight immediately. I was like, because again, I had made the offhand remark to Gab, like, you know, I kind of halfway shipped them. And then she was just immediately, hang the fuck on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. But yeah.
I like it.
And it's just that, like, what had happened, and I think I've even talked about this before too, was that there was initially, when she was taking sketch requests, and I was like, how about Ophelia reaching out to Scout? Like, because the idea that I had was, you know, her reaching out in the sense of, all right, like, the whole Dragon Ball Z pattern of, like, reaching out to past enemy and making them a friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then she drew that picture of him having had his ass beat by Jess, and actually, like, apologizing. And I was like, hang on. Well, I mean, if that's possible, I mean, I know that Ophelia likes to flirt with everything and anything, and she would absolutely flirt with Mr. Anime Man over here. And so I drew a quick shot of her flirting with him, which Gab responded to with him getting flustered, and I was like, oh no, this is getting worse. And from there, I was kind of like slowly shipping it more, drawing further flirtation between the two, well, specifically her flirting with him.
That's how it starts.
And then that's when I was saying to Gab, I was like, yeah, I kind of halfway shipped them, actually. That's
They
when...
have so much potential.
Yep.
I mean, they're seeing it. That's the thing.
I'm so
The
glad.
the fact that, again, I'm not going to say what they discussed, but the fact that they actually are in the process off screen of having a conversation where they both nerd out about something it's so fucking adorable.
Yes.
I'll talk about it when we actually get to the session. Like, you will hear about it eventually. It's just that, in the meantime, the fact that they have as much in common as they do, they both come from wealthy families, they both were kind of led down a particular path by their parents,
Yeah.
they both have had the tendency to treat people like they're disposable. They've both been on dark paths in their lives, and Ophelia is trying to turn Scout around on that.
Yeah.
I still love so much about their interactions.
Yeah.
Like, it started off with all of the flirtation, which was, like, actually kind of funny. Especially because of the reactions that people were not expecting. Again, I listen back to the recordings occasionally, and just, like, Marcy's constant...
Marcy's comments give me life!
Just like the, oh my god.
Oh my god. And, like... I feel like at some point Marcy's going to request if she has to roll constitution checks for herself whenever Ophelia says this shit. But, like...
Well, I mean, especially if Ophelia is still dressed to the nines.
I mean, that's just it.
Yeah.
But then they
Yes,
actually
gay.
start... Yes, super gay. I still love the prospect of Ophelia meeting Liza at some point.
Oh, yes.
I want that showdown.
Like, I appreciate Delphine, and again, not my Delphine, but another character in this campaign, an NPC named Delphine. Not really having a lot in common with her, in fact. Like, she's the attempted princess, whereas Ophelia is the fucking queen. And they had, like, a little minor cat fight where Delphine was trying to fucking cat fight with Ophelia, and, like, what was the remark that she made about, like, you throw your panties at everyone you see? And
Oh, yeah.
Ophelia's response being, and why do you know about throwing panties at someone at the age of, or at your age? Like, you seem to know a lot about that. It was just a fucking takedown that Delphine was not expecting at that time. I don't think anyone was expecting that. But, Liza, I think we even explicitly mentioned she uses magic to make herself more attractive, I guess, by default. And if Ophelia picks up on the fact that she's doing that and that she is using magic to make that happen, that she's gonna be like, okay, I'm twice as attractive as you without all of the bullshit magic. So I'm pretty sure I win.
Oh my fucking god, I just realized.
Yeah?
Since Ophelia is a closet weeb, I could see her, like, finding out about Liza. Okay, it's Tsunade.
Oh my god, this is!
It's
really sticking.
It's who?
A Naruto character who uses, like, ninja magic to make herself look younger.
Yeah, she has
Oh.
a seal on her forehead and stuff, and that kind of helps her keep her looks young, because she's really dry as age, but, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
shenanigans.
But yeah, no, so, and that's just
Thank
it.
you
I
for
think
bringing that up.
I think the follow-up on that was the Liza thing was Liza getting pissed off and her going, oh, I'm sorry, did you want to unclip some earrings before I curb stomp you? I would hate to break anything valuable.
God, vision.
Fuck.
Laura had to spoil things for herself to make this. Be grateful, people. Yeah, no, you
and
didn't come
again,
across as...
I love the idea of, like, just like watching this fight in in progress. It's just like wanting to run out of the job. You can't catch me, gay thoughts, and just like images of Ophelia and Liza. Yes, we can. Just running home to Emma.
Aw. But, okay, Sundari, keep telling yourself you don't like me. We both know you're lying. I mean... But yeah. I still love everything about this campaign. And I am looking forward to the continuation of the date, because while the conversation stuff is definitely happening off camera, there's some plot stuff that they're going to be talking about, and the best part with that is there's going to be other stuff that's actually happening on camera that Gab and I discussed.
Yay, that's good.
And then there's also going to be potentially the conversation with Weldon and Scout, which in itself is going to be a fucking experience, alright?
Yeah.
Because the two of them do not like each other. And Weldon has the
Don't say.
tendency to try and rile him up. Because
Whether it be
Scout...
like a magic missile or verbal taunting.
Yeah, but that's just it. Because it was under those unfortunate things, too, that Weldon calls him darling, but it's sarcastically. So, like, when Ophelia was calling him darling, apparently Scout thought that she was doing it intentionally to conjure that.
And it's like, no.
No, it's because I genuinely like you as a darling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still love that fucking shitpost I made, like, parodying the, hi, welcome to Chili's thing, but with, like, Weldon at a Wendy's drive-thru, like, assuming Scout's in the car. Hi, Twig, welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your fucking order?
So that's going to be fun in itself because now Ophelia is probably going to have to stop them from bickering. Probably.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll
Daddy,
see.
honey, stop, you're both beautiful.
I want to hope for the best.
Yeah. No, I've got hopes for the best too, but it depends on dice rolls and whether or not they can make convincing arguments, which, again, I'm going to show you what I've got, Jane, once I actually...
Ooh, yeah.
I'm reminded of this mural I saw years ago when I was on vacation in the UK, and we were in like Northern Ireland, and
Ooh.
I think we were in Dublin, I forget, but I saw this mural and I'm reminded of this situation with Ophelia and the boys, just prepared for peace, ready for war.
Codfish.
Oh god.
No, I'm on stream right now. Sorry.
I'm still not over. Yo, your bag!
I mean, I try to mute. I sometimes don't get a chance to, like, just.
That's all right. Yeah, we get you.
No, don't. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay.
You can press undo, right?
Yeah, I can, but...
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually see. Copy, paste, and then remove that, and then there we go. That's how I do it.
Yeah. I do love seeing this coming along.
Yes, this is going to be something. Oh,
Especially knowing what song you chose.
oh yeah. So let's see. Go back to that one. Deselect. What we are going to do is we are going to flip. What? No. Okay. Don't worry about it. All right, there we go. That's what I'm going to... What? Why are you not... Is that...
Is it like not registering like the multiple layers?
Okay, I put it on the wrong layer.
Oh, yeah,
That's why.
You know what? Yeah, I think it was because you were on the head layer.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that shit can get infuriating sometimes.
I mean, yeah. But okay, so I need to move that. That'll work for that. And yeah, so I have to decapitate her in order to make this work, but it's only temporary decapitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's animation for it, you know.
Yeah.
She'll get another one next
See,
year.
I would flip the entire head, but the problem is that she actually has a specific haircut, so like...
Yeah.
You'd have to redraw the, like, part of it.
Yeah.
There's no object to transform. What are you talking about?
Are you on the wrong layer?
Again,
then,
the
maybe?
layer.
Yeah, check the layer you're on.
That's weird. Okay, so this is just a completely pointless layer. Okay, anyway, I am good at art.
You
Yeah, you
are.
are.
I am not.
Listen. We have photographic and testimonial evidence that disagrees.
I love again that I'm just decapitating Ophelia, moving her head around, all of that.
I mean, I wouldn't trust anyone else to handle that but Ophelia.
Yeah, I mean, it's her head.
Yeah?
She's very good at keeping it.
What do you mean no head? Throw a sending stone on the ground.
What?
Never mind.
Is this about what Owen did about
That's
destroying
a stupid Vine reference. I'm sorry.
Oh, I need to see that Vine eventually.
Oh, God.
Oh, Vine was a thing.
Yeah, it was.
Apparently they're making something that's kind of like a successor. Like, not TikTok,
No.
but like actually a successor.
I mean, I'd be down for
Oh.
seeing that.
Okay. Alright. I have fixed it. Yay!
Congratulations, he won.
Yes.
No, I just need to-
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Dun, 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 dun. The fudge sticking, or like the fudge sticking fly into the meat parts. It's just Shinji ranting at the end of Evangelion.
Like, okay, I mustn't run away.
No, no.
I mustn't run away. I get that. Alright, but if I were to run away, where would I run away to?
Scout at the tree. I mustn't run away. I mustn't run away.
Oh my god. Hey, you know what, Griffin?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think this works for that. Yeah, I think that works. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, this is coming together like nicely.
Yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun. I love that literally the name of the animatic is fuck you. Because the actual eventual animatic is going to be Ophelia has a message for Dahlia.
Yeah. I've been resisting the urge to kind of hum the melody because I don't want to spoil anything, but...
Oh yeah, no, let's not spoil it. And I appreciate
Yeah.
that. But, why are you running?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So I'm just gonna quickly flip between the two of them to see that it works out visually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it has her tilting.
Yeah.
And it actually looks pretty consistent between the two.
Yeah.
Alright, so she'd just be bopping to that.
Yeah.
But yes, Ophelia has a message for Dahlia.
I've come to make an announcement.
I mean...
Oh, God. I am so fucking happy that we can connect over that.
I mean, it's such a big... that is one of the best improvised speeches of all time.
Yes, absolutely.
And I love just that whole fucking moment of just, like, leading into it. And then they go into that cutscene and Alfred just fucking goes off.
Oh, yeah. Fucking shout out to Paperbox House, Alfred Coleman. He is a fucking mad lad.
Absolutely brilliant. And that entire moment, I'll piss on the moon!
I'm pissing on the moon!
Between the pissing on the moon and the moon, it's falling.
Okay, so at one point, you probably know, those of you out there in internet land, about the streamer who was playing Majora's Mask, who ended up falling asleep during the stream, and the time ended up running out, the moon was falling, and someone in the chat was like, the moon! It's falling!
It's falling.
So,
Screen capped it and saved it.
and at one point, while we were all hanging out in call at one point, Luke had evidently fallen asleep. Like, he might have, on his end, he had, like, intentionally left the call and then gone to actually go sleep. But on our end, we saw him still in call, but we were like, and it's around that time that Luke should be getting to bed, right? And then dead silence. And we're like, oh my god, he's asleep. Okay. So it then became a Luke, the moon, it's falling!
It's falling.
Yes. And I love how, like, when Luke joined us all for the first Modem stream, the first thing he said, "It was one time."
And we'll never let him live it down.
God.
Oh, speaking of which, I do have to a while ago when, the whole I'm streaming, I answered back, I just checked in on that. I kind of have to leave, like, in a minute, but I wanted to say bye to you guys, but also thanks for, it was a fun hangout, though. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm even gonna say, we're right about at the end of the stream anyway. I've technically gone over a little bit. I just wanted to finish that image. You go ahead and head off. I'll say my goodbyes to the stream and everything,
Okay,
but...
cool, yeah. And
thank you.
Thank you for coming to Laura's stream.
And thank you.
Supporting her.
Aw, you're a sweetheart, Jane.
Yes, and also go support Red as a Tomato.
Yes.
Aw, you're so sweet. Oh, it's time! I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
It's time. It's falling.
That is the only way for her to have left the call.
Oh yeah, just like rolling in a mad, like spin dashing out of the call.
The time is falling! Okay. Anyway, I think, that's probably a good place to leave it on that for tonight. You got to see some of the panels that I've been working on. Actually, how many did I get done here?
At least a few.
Oh yeah, no, I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 panels actually finished. So,
Not bad.
That's actually pretty accomplished. And this is still going to take a while to actually get done. I still have, let's check, the rest of the chorus. I'm going to actually cut out the bridge. And then the third verse. And then the final chorus.
Yeah, like I found, like, because I've been doing the animatic stage direction thing. I've also been cutting down the songs I've been working with to make it more manageable.
Right. Anyway, to everyone who came by today, I want to thank you guys for coming to watch. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube later, I appreciate you checking this out too. Hopefully it was entertaining and you got to see some of my artistic process as I get an animatic that will eventually be going up on my Sirenia Studios channel. Here's the other thing. Unfortunately, I don't have monetization on the channel yet anyway, because I don't meet the requirements for it just yet. But if I were monetized, I would still not be able to monetize this video. So, if you would like to support me making these videos and everything that's going up on Sirenia Studios, you can always check out my Patreon, which is linked in the description of literally every video on the channel. Both channels even, really. And... I mean, obviously there's things like doing donations during this stream or any streams, which, again, thank you to everyone, especially John and Skeeto for jumping in, and Shikarian, thank you all for contributing to today. That means a lot, and it does help to support what I'm doing. Because here's the thing, if I can turn this actually into something that is like a living, like, wage situation, then I can make some of my dreams come true, and then I can also make a lot of things for the channel get better, like paying for an editor to do stuff, and actually start making it like a studio situation. But thank you to every last one of you, the support that you show, even just by being here and commenting, and if you leave comments on the video, I pretty much always see it, and I will usually see it, even if I don't necessarily respond to it. I read those comments and I smile. Unless someone says something stupid, in which case I read it and I go, okay, you took the time to say something that just proved you have a low IQ, but, I generally don't do that. I will say, the only way to get me to convince that you have a low IQ, which is kind of an arbitrary method of intelligence anyway, is if you say something like, lol, you're playing Rogue wrong, or, like, some kind of remark along those lines. It's like, yeah. I mean, I've had people criticize stuff before, but it's been, like, thoughtful and constructive kind of things that I'm just like, that's fine. It's when you say, like, your voice is weird that I go, okay. I mean, I've had a decade of people telling me that my voice is really nice to listen to, but sure. I got a little derailed there. Those of you who are watching this post-stream, I hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to being able to eventually post this animatic on my channel. Those of you who are watching live, there will be a new video on Sirenia Studios tomorrow, and it is the last of the backlog for the Ballad of Lorelei. Which means, after this point, any new Ballad of Lorelei videos are new.
Yeah.
And this is a major one too. Like this next one that's going up tomorrow is one of the major ones. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the next one and all of the other stuff that's going to be going up on my channel. But yeah, so thank you for listening to me talk about Magic of the Mundane for 2 hours again. And obviously she's not in call, but thank you, Jane, for joining and adding your particular wonderful flair to this conversation.
Yes.
And thank you, Griffin, for joining me as a co-commentator, co-host.
Always a pleasure, especially when it comes to Modem stuff.
Yeah, like we can't talk about that enough, apparently. So
we literally cannot.
Apparently. But that's gonna do it for today, so I will hopefully see you guys all next week, where I might actually continue Dragon Age. That might be interesting at some point. Anyway, take care, everyone.
Have a good one.